Welcome to the Keelhauled podcast. I'm your host, CaptainLogun, and we've got a lot of Sea of Thieves news to cover today. So tie yourselves to the mast and hold fast. Ahoy there, pirates. I hope you had yourselves a good week and a good weekend. I know I did. This week, we're going to be talking all about the announcements that came in for December with the December update. Also, what you can expect as far as time-wise when it comes to events, when it comes to celebrations, when it comes to just a lot of things going on in December. All that and more in this week's episode of Keelhauled Podcast. But before I get into any of that, I have to thank the patrons. They are the ones that went over to patreon.com to show their support for this content. And believe it or not, during the month of December, I'm going to be giving a discount to anyone that signs up. So monthly memberships are going to have 20% off during the month of December using the code GIVING. It's all capital letters, just the word GIVING, G-I-V-I-N-G. So that's going to be available if you guys want to jump in and help support, and we're looking for a way to save some money at the same time. Always appreciate it, but it's never required. But as such, I like to offer a thanks to those that are currently subscribing by calling out their names every episode. So thank you to A-Chick, L-Cute, Balls, Blue Turtle V1, Captain Chonky, Captain Longsharts, Chateau Noof, Super Pack, Zombie Killer, Cosmic Johnson, Static Mirror, Crazy Frog, Davram TV, El Jefe Esteban, Godhammer 6, Carl Embo of Embo Family Gaming, Kylia the Aficionado, Elvin Vramir, Evil Morpheus, Space Admiral Ors, Xbox Mike 29, Rabid Raccoon, Regis Stella the Brony Pirate, Ribloid, Rustbelt Kid, Sea Leg Sam, Shoe Daddy 13, Scamelt 666, Tales of the Sea, The Demon Jester, Tommy D, DN Professor, Wailing Witch, Big Bad Pad, Mina Fairy, Hager Owl, Jeff H, Captain Duckweed, Evil Martha, Peter Miller, Rooski Doo, Thor Von Blitz, Luke Lore the Insipid Ghost, and Zam Wow. Thank you all so much for the love, the support. It really does mean the world to me that you help do so, because it does actually take care of a lot of the payments and stuff that come with the podcast. So thank you, everyone. And I hope you have a good rest of your week. With that, let's get into it. First on today's docket, let's talk about Season 18, and we now have really good idea publicly about what's going on and what we're going to be doing. The Guardians are here, and they're going to be really, really interesting to see how people address them. They're a much different type of battle that we've had in the past. I would kind of associate them with most of the ghosts that we do fight, but I really like some of the powers and abilities that they have. Now, I'm not going to go into too much of this, just so that folks have an opportunity, if they want to be able to explore that on their own. But they are new abilities, and I like the fact that they have shown a little bit of what they do in some of the videos that are there. But what's going to happen is the video actually talks about this, and I'm not quite sure because all of my testing has been done in the roar. But you're going to be able to find these guardians, these ancient guardians, in the Devil Roar, and supposedly around the world as well too. Once you actually defeat these, you'll then be able to get a key. This key is a banished key to a vault that is in the actual roar. It has been unearthed, and you can take this down in there and actually use it to unlock a lot of treasure. Now, most of the treasure down in these vaults is pretty good. It's going to be similar to gold vaults in that they have a few things that you can go in and kind of get. It's actually, no, I take that back. It's going to kind of feel more like an actual, I mean, it is a treasure vault per se, but the loot's going to be varied. So it's not just going to be all gold hoarder stuff, but it will have some nice options as far as towards the different trade companies. And I like this. There's going to be some discussion around how a lot of this is going to feel like recolored pieces of loot for the Devil's Roar and stuff. And I think that's a fair criticism, but I don't necessarily want them to go creating a whole slew of new stuff just for something that's going to be in addition to the Roar. I would much rather they just kind of fill out the Roar with more stuff to do, just because it's one of those situations where I like having stuff to do out in the roar from time to time, and offering us something like these guardians is going to be a nice little change up compared to your standard stuff. So the loot's going to be similar to a treasure vault. You're going to have some skulls and some merchant stuff, as far as I can recall, in there as well, based on what I saw in the videos as well. And I like that. They did add a couple little trinkets here and there that are going to be towards like new stuff that we haven't seen yet. And I'm sure there's going to be some lore based around it as well. The whole theme of this is actually going to be kind of bringing out more information about what's going on with the banished guardians, or the banished ancients, the ones that have been locked away by the populace of ancients that have left Sea of Thieves to go into the Sea of the Damned for their paradise, because it is what you make of it. And the ones that are left behind have all been buried, and all of their relics and stuff like that have all been sealed up in these vaults, these banished vaults. And the guardians are here to help prevent us from getting too deep in the weeds when it comes to messing around with the banished ancients. Now, that isn't going to really matter to Flameheart. Flameheart, with his orb, is going to try and push and push and push to try and get the secrets and try and get the power that he needs to be able to take over the Sea of Thieves. So it's on us to secure this for the trade companies. It's up to us, I guess, to open up. I don't know. It depends on where your allegiance lies, I guess, in this case. But for all intents and purposes, we're going to be getting another 3-act season. The first act is going to be focused around the Guardians, exploring, finding them, killing them, or banishing. I don't know what destroying them, taking the banished keys to the Devil's Roar to open up vaults. These different vaults have different names, as I recall, and they will probably tell you where to go for them. So you'll be able to work on that. Because there's only, I think, 12 islands out in the Roar, there's actually going to be quite a few vaults to go into in comparison. I think it's a third or a fourth. I think it's I think it's a third of the islands have vaults on them. So that you should be able to get to one relatively quickly after getting one of the keys. And it's going to be interesting. I'm going to be curious to see how people feel about this, especially with this being the first act. The commendations and the deeds associated with the season act should be relatively better than what we had with season 17. They're probably going to be not too egregious, but enough that most casual folks will be able to get a lot of that stuff done, which at the end of the day may not be something to push players who are religiously playing, who are playing all the time and want to have something to grind. But it will help with adoption for people who constantly feel like they're falling behind on stuff like that. So I like that this is something that is potentially going to be found in places outside of the Roar. As far as the Guardians go, because I think the intent here is Rare wants to give people an opportunity to find the Guardian naturally, because every time there's a new season, it's always kind of hard to direct people to know where to go to experience the new content. And I think that if they're able to put out Guardians out and about in the world, then hopefully what will happen, and it's a miracle we haven't dug these things up yet, is that they will get a key. And the key will direct them out to the Roar, which will then bring people out into the Roar to actually go out and do that. And maybe actually get them to go do more stuff in the Roar for folks that are looking for some activity, going after other ships and stuff like that. Kind of push people to the Roar because they find something that makes them go out there to begin with. A little bit of an emergence in that sense. If you think about it from a lower perspective, I imagine most people will probably sail in the main 3 seas, with the Devil's Roar kind of being that place just out in the side. And if whispers, quests, voyages, secondhand knowledge were to come about to pirates at taverns, they would be like, hey, did you guys see that there's something going on about these banished ancients or these ancient guardians? And you're like, no, I haven't. Dude, I was on Devil's Ridge, and I'll tell you what, we came across one. We did not do well, but the ferryman brought us back, and we just left because it was too hard. And they'd be like, oh, well, I'm going to go check out Devil's Ridge. I'm going to go check and see what's going on with it. And they go there, and then, you know, they manage to take out the Guardian, and the Guardian like drops this key, and they're like, man, did you see this? We got to go talk to Morrow. Maybe Morrow knows about some of these things. And Morrow's going to be like, yeah, I heard whispers that the Reapers have been out here digging for vaults, and that they've been trying to get some of these trinkets and stuff. So I think it's wild. But if you guys happen to find one, feel free to bring some of that stuff back to the trading company. Maybe they know something about it. That's how I kind of imagine a lot of this kind of working. You know, the natural feeding of rumors and suggestions, and then items to kind of like egg people on into the roar. So there's a discoverability aspect to it that I think is important when developing the game as well, too, especially with the roar kind of being quiet for a very long time, unless people are really paying attention or completely oblivious, or they come back later on into the game. It's going to be outside of their purview when they think about like, what should we go do? And having the Guardians is kind of a way to being like, hey, you found, it's kind of like I guess a good way to look at this is treat it how you would a rag and bone crate, or what's another good example? A Reaper chest or a Reaper bounty. Like you find one and you're like, what do I do with this? Well, that's how you get to the Reaper hideout. Oh, well, what's the Reaper hideout? It's like, oh, well, this is a faction that goes after other ships and PvPs, and you know, they want to find stuff to rule. Oh, that sounds cool. How do I join them? And you have that natural discovery, that, you know, little breadcrumb trail to take people to the roar in this instance. So remains to be seen how folks take it. I can imagine some folks going to be totally fine with it. Some people probably really wish that they'd focused more in on the roar, which makes sense given the nature of this. But it does make sense that they want to try and garner favor with the trade companies with items that you find in the vaults that are coming from keys that are dropped by the Guardians that you're now unearthing as a result of Flameheart honestly kind of messing with stuff a little bit too much. Like, you know, he's kind of poking the bull, right? And with him poking the bull, you know, you're going to get the horns eventually. Well, these Guardians kind of look like the horns of the bull. So we'll have to see. But again, I enjoyed my experience on Insiders. I had a really good time with the fight. It's not an easy fight, which I've been welcoming some of the more harder fights when it comes to PvE. I think it's kind of nice to have something that gives you a bit of a challenge in a world where so many seasoned pirates, you know, they've kind of tackled everything, right? They've kind of gotten to see and do just about everything in the game, and to have something that is different and challenging is definitely a nice way to kind of invigorate the experience. And you might be, I've been a champion of making things accessible. I won't say easy. I'll say that making things accessible to people is a good way to try and ensure that you have that kind of natural progression. New swabbies will come in and not having any clue on like how to cook meat, how to bring supplies, when to disengage, when to engage, how to work out a boss fight, stuff like that is going to be a challenge for them. And they may cry that cry out, not like cry tears, but they may cry that this content is too hard. And I would then say like, okay, well, this is an opportunity for people who think it's too hard to either not engage with it right away, to engage with it later when they have more experience, or to seek out other people, maybe get a larger crew, maybe get an additional crew to go and help you with this kind of stuff. And see, is this something that you can learn how to avoid the mechanics? Can you learn to be better prepared? Can you learn how to fight better? And just give you something to work towards, as opposed to just saying, nah, it's too hard. I'd rather they reduce the challenge of the fight itself, because I think that there's always opportunities for growth as a player, as opposed to saying it's too hard. I feel the same way when it comes to games. Some games I'll play on normal, I'll play on hard, that's fine. Other games I'm going to play on easy. Some games where I don't want to engage in the type of game that it is, and it's specifically like a Dark Souls game, or like Elden Ring or something, where the punishment is severe for the learning curve you have to have only through experience. Some of those games get on my frustrations too much, and that's not the type of game that I like to jump into when I'm looking to enjoy my experience, my time with gaming. There's sometimes where I want to be challenged, and I definitely enjoy those challenges. Other times, depending on the game, I'm going to disengage with, because those are not my style. And because of that, I look at these as an opportunity for players to get a good handle on a harder experience and decide, is this something that I like? If it is, great. If it's not, there's still a lot of content to be able to consume, or maybe we need to find a different way of approaching it. Maybe instead of just having one sloop crew going after this guardian, you bring in a galleon, or you bring in a galleon and a sloop crew who you found. Back in the day, the very first thing that we fought was the Hungering One, and the Hungering One required you to have multiple crews to engage with it and then to actually take it out. Now, back then, it was a much different design because you had very limited cannonballs. You could only do so much. Bananas were the only type of food that you had, and it was a lot more difficult, a lot more challenging to be able to do, which is why people like Beardageddon made a name for themselves in Sea of Thieves, because they went and actually soloed it with a chicken on board alive. And that was something that like Daily Kong had put out as like a challenge. They wanted to see someone solo it, and then they wanted to see someone solo it with a chicken on board naked. And that, that was the challenge. Beardageddon came in, actually managed to get the challenge done, recorded it all, posted it online, and became known for that when it first came out. But that was a very difficult boss. That was a very difficult event for people to do. So I like that they're doing this. I like that they're putting in a little bit of their, not to say that there isn't a way to add content that is also easy and hard. You can have both. You can make multiple engagements with different types of enemies to make it hard or easy. Ashen Lords and Skeleton Lords are a good way of showing that you can go from Briggsy, where Briggsy is kind of an easy boss, all the way up to Ashen Lord, which I would argue is the harder of like Lord bosses, where Skeletons and Briggsy are kind of the same. And Ashen Lords are a little bit more difficult. There's ways that you can kind of go in and mess around with this for sure. But at the end of the day, I think this will be a fun boss, or a boss type that people engage with. I think for example, the boars were another good engagement. One boar could mess you up pretty quickly if you were a little too lax, if you weren't a little too quick to jump on a rock when they were coming around. So I'm very curious to kind of see what people do with this, what people think of it. The loot table, I will say, for the key for the vaults is all right, based on my experience in Insiders. So I'm curious to know if this is going forward going to be a good loot pool, like how I'm want to do the Sea of Science when it goes live to find out what the average vault value is and how long it takes to actually complete, based on some of the other content of the game. Because you can do a 10 to 15 minute skeleton camp, and the skeleton camp will get you 20 grand for the orb to go sell. It doesn't matter who you sell it to, 20 grand. So it's going to be very interesting to see time investment versus gold value, if you even manage to keep the key long enough to be able to open up a vault to get it all emptied out there. But one of the things that they've said is actually going to be in these vaults, and I'm very curious to see how these play with the rest of the world, are these new Tridents of Banished. And they're going to be purple. They are supposedly more dangerous and shoot faster. I've seen some pretty funny stuff on Insiders. I don't know if it's all testing, so I can't really speak to the experience on live. but you are going to have the opportunity to get one of these new tridents or Disney sticks. It's a purple Disney stick at this point. So I don't know, you can call it Perpy or something like that. I don't think Perpy sounds good. Actually, I don't like that. That's a dumb name. Don't go with that. Please don't use Perpy as, we'll figure something out. We'll find another, the community is going to come up with a good name, I'm sure. So we'll figure that out. But at the end of the day, it's another tool. It's another opportunity to see how these work. And I think having something that's faster maybe should have been the baseline for the tridents. And this could have been a different type of power. Them offering a faster, for all intents and purposes, bubble stick is okay, in my opinion. We'll see how it lands in live. I think we're gonna have to live with it a little bit before we can really kind of say if the tridents are worth it or not, or if those should have been completely different altogether. But it definitely feels like a lot of what was done was working on this new threat, and that the new threat was going to be the main thing that people are engaging with. The vaults themselves will expand upon the story of the game and breathe a little life into the islands specifically. But I think once folks kind of get their commendations done for this, there's a good chance that most people will probably stick around for a little bit just to kind of mess with people in the roar before waiting for the next thing to go do, which we now know for sure is going to be an event going on from January to February, and that is going to kick off with the Molten Sands Fortress. And then last episode, I think it was last episode, we actually talked about the potential of them adjusting the PvP stuff. Now, Godhammer reached out, as he typically do, and told me that the PvP stuff isn't what's coming in Act 3 for Season 18. I trust his judgment because he usually doesn't lie to me. And I went and checked on the videos, and sure enough, the videos do actually show that there is something that's going to be coming in Act 3, but is going to be tied to Ashen Garrisons, which I think is going to be very interesting. Basically, what's going on is Captain Flameheart has ordered the construction of 2 new formidable Ashen Garrisons as barracks for his increased presence in the Devil's Roar. You can launch an assault on these fearsome fortresses, dispatching the skeletons sworn to protect them, and locate the plunder hidden within. So that is going to give us more opportunity to do short-term content, easier content, if you will. I guess easy is a relative thing, right? But give you something that potentially could be easier than a Guardian with the Banished Ancients to be able to do stuff out in the Roar. I'll be very curious to kind of see how this works. I jumped into Insiders, not this last week, but the week prior, and noticed that there is some changes to the Sea of Thieves in the form of things being altered in the game on different islands. And I was really happy to see that. It was actually something that kind of surprised me at first, and really does kind of, make me feel good about the state of the game. Seeing that Rare is doing more undocumented stuff to the game, which, to be perfectly honest, I'm not too big on the whole undocumented changes, but it is kind of fun when you find it, to kind of see like, hey, they're doing stuff around the world, not just in the Devil's Roar, but they're still making changes to the world. And it's changes that are going to increase the story or offer the opportunity for story to change up in the game. And I like that. I like that because at this point, we're still slowly working towards a state in which we know what's going to happen with Flameheart or the Pirate Lord or the person who's working with the smugglers. And I like that. I like that we are getting that opportunity to kind of dig into the story and see growth within the game in the form of things changing up to do more with what's going on. Now, I'm not going to say that these changes are huge. They will have impact in the future. But I'm kind of hoping that what will happen is Rare is going to work on the back end to do something interesting with the changes that they're making, to then kind of make the islands a little more unique and offer opportunities for gameplay experiences that previously weren't there. And I know that's a very vague thing to say, but I think what's going to happen is the Orb stream is going to show off some secrets that we have not gotten to see in quite a while as a result of just not being an Orb stream. So let's get into that. Next on today's docket, let's talk about the Orb returning. So season 18 is kicking off on December 11th. That's this coming Thursday, as well as the story so far, which is always kind of like the end of the year, tell you like what you've done. Hopefully this year the analytics are a little more accurate than they have in the past. And if they aren't, hopefully they honor the two shrouded ghosts that apparently most people have actually killed. So I would like to kind of like say, like, you know, December 11th, let's hope that everything goes well. It sounds like they've got some stuff lined up for it. But the thing that I think is really kind of cool and exciting to know that they're actually going to be doing this is that the Orb is returning. If you're unfamiliar with this, the Orb is the actual glass orb. It kind of looks like a very special cursed cannonball that has been predicting the future of Sea of Thieves in weird riddles for quite some time. It turns out that it's actually associated with the spider, the ancient who was kind of, you know, very magical, very, very powerful in the Sea of Thieves back when the ancients were around. And Flameheart has kind of got this orb now. You know, it's kind of turned to the side of Reapers because apparently it kind of goes towards wherever the most powerful entity is. So now it's in the possession of Flameheart. And what we're hopefully going to actually get from this is that they're going to be doing a bit of a production around this, where they're going to have the orb awaken and actually kind of give us some whispers and some visions on what is going to happen with the future of Sea of Thieves for 2026. It's kind of a prediction on what we can expect, better than just a roadmap as they usually have done in past years, where they just come out and say, hey, this is the roadmap for this year and what to expect, and some of the stuff to kind of tease on some things in the future. I'm looking forward to the Orb because it kind of rallies the community around this opportunity to kind of hang out and discuss it and chat, and just kind of have what kind of amounts to a Yule log for Sea of Thieves. In the past, they've had Yule log videos, and I've done Yule log videos back when Duke the Dark Lord was kind of in Sea of Thieves, and he was just kind of hanging out by the actual like fireplace. And I think I ended up like recording like 30 minutes of that just because I wanted to have like a kind of a moment in time kind of in the past. But with this, it's going to be over on Twitch on Sea of Thieves' website. So just head over to twitch.tv/Sea of Thieves, and you'll be able to watch it there. The Orb is going to be returning from December 12th, which is that Friday, and going until December 14th, which is that Sunday. So we're going to have 3 days of the Orb, and people are going to probably be watching at all hours. We have enough people across the world to be able to watch, clip, and record a lot of this. I'm sure a lot of folks are probably going to spend most of their weekend kind of watching it to see if there's any kind of cool stuff. I will probably be relatively busy most of Saturday and work obviously with Friday. So I won't necessarily get to kind of watch it all the time. I'll probably spend some time actually playing games and whatnot. But it is kind of awesome that they're doing this, and I look forward to seeing what we find out, because I imagine it's probably going to tie into smugglers. It's probably going to tie into the person that's working with the smugglers right now, kind of heading them up, as well as Flameheart and what's going to happen with the Dark Ancients, you know, the banished as it is. So kind of really interesting things, hopefully coming, hidden rewards they talk about, veiled clues that they're talking about. So I'm just glad that it's back. Regardless of what kind of happens, it's always a moment in Sea of Thieves' past where a lot of folks have really enjoyed it. I personally kind of liked it better when it was an actual like snow globe lantern thing, as opposed to what it is now, which is just a red ball or like a purple ball that's kind of been on a little thing. So it, you can only, I liked it better when it was like a Christmas globe. But that's just my personal desires to have, my personal favorite thing to be the thing that everyone gets. But outside of that, the Legends of Giving and Holiday Hauls is going to kick off, and that's going to start on Monday, December 15th. So any of the Pirate Legends will get the emote. You can offer it to anyone and get yourself the Obsidian grapple gun, which is kind of awesome. If enough pirates are out there going to giving to like people that haven't gotten it, they'll hit the community goal, which will give us the what's it called, the precious gift sales. Actually, let me take a quick peek here. Okay, double checked. Yeah, it's like the precious present flag and sales if the community goal is hit. I don't know what the community goal is, but I imagine it'll probably get hit during that time, because it's going to be from December 15th through all the way to January 2nd. So there's plenty of time for people to be doing this, and it's going to be up to Legends to sail around and offer the emote, and anyone nearby will be able to interact with it, and then they'll be able to get the Obsidian grapple gun, and then they can turn around and do it for all the Pirate Legends that are out there doing that. Outside of that, the Sea of Thieves partners, the affiliate alliance leaders, and the deckhands are setting out to give out the generous gift sales while spreading holiday cheer as well too. So keep an eye out for them. I don't know if this includes the new wave partners. I don't think it does, because I'm pretty sure that I haven't heard of any of them being able to get part of this. It is strictly just the OG partners, no one that's kind of moving their way up into it. Remains to be seen how that is going to play out with the way that Rare is kind of segmenting partners from traditional partner, kind of like variety streamer and full-time, versus the new wave, which is kind of up and coming partners. And then the Bilge Rat crew, which is like their stream team, who have been giving away Gilded Phoenix table and chairs on streams lately. So definitely remains to be seen how that's going to work, and how they're going to be able to like find people and stuff. Hopefully there's enough people kind of out there that folks will get an opportunity to actually get these. It's kind of a shame that it's literally coming down to what location are you located in, because to be perfectly honest, when I was living on West Coast, I never ran into anyone on the stamp that I play on that was a partner, a Sea of Thieves partner. And I definitely didn't run into any deckhands and affiliate alliance leaders. Like I never saw them, never saw the sales, never knew like they were there. Most of the partners were all on East Coast or Central. So as far as like people on West Coast, I don't know how they're actually going to get it. And if Rare could actually, put out the list of these are the partners in the different time zones, or these are the different, I don't even like that, because then you're kind of like saying what time zone most partners are in. But I don't know how folks are going to be able to get these, because it's up to the partners to go out and actually find people and do stuff like that. And that's that, how much are the partners, the people that made their names basically being pirates on Sea of Thieves and garnering a lot of attention, how many of those are going to run around and actually like be generous with the sales and stuff like that enough times that people are going to be able to get it? Because if they aren't doing it, then it's up to the affiliate alliance leaders, which, who knows who they are. We don't know who they are. The deckhands you can find in the forums, so you can generally find out like who that is. But you're going to have to sail around looking for the right sales to be able to like see who they are and where they are. So I'm just kind of hoping that, we'll be able to get people those. It's one of those things. It's like, I'm not sure how they're giving away that stuff. I don't know if it's a code. I don't know if they're taking names. I don't know if it's like something that you can do in game. But it would be cool to be able to have the opportunity to meet up with partners to be able to do that for a lot of folks. Never been something I've ever run into, so we'll have to see how that goes. So wishing everyone the best of luck on being able to do that. On top of that, though, that is just going on. That's kicking off on Monday the 15th for the Legends of Giving and the holiday hauls. Outside of that, there's going to be the Gilded Voyage Giveaways. So starting during the same time period as the Legendary Giving or Legends of Giving and the holiday hauls, there's also the Gilded Voyage Giveaways. Between the dates of the 15th and January 2nd, they'll be calling back to last year's Festival of Giving by furnishing all pirates with a free Gilded Voyage every day. And it's worth leaving a reminder here that these voyages don't stack. So you'll want to make sure that you do a beeline for the quest and use each one as you get it. So they're being very clear here that you're not going to be able to just get a bunch of these and do them when you want. They're only going to be offering one per day during this time period. Also during this time period is going to be the support Sea of Thieves partner streamer as well too. If you want to earn yourself the exclusive items of the Twitch kind of purple colored mercenary set or the obsidian set, you can get the so it looks like the obsidian stuff as far as like the wheel, the cannon, and the capstan, and it's going to be purple Twitch colors. So that's the kind of what's up for grabs as far as like that stuff. There is a ship crest as well that looks like a little shield that has a pirate skull within the Twitch logo as part of the set as well. And they're of course giving the obsidian double barrel pistol away with this as well too. So it's one of those things where they're most definitely asking for donations for stuff, because right now you've got the Treasures of Hope, which is giving you a bunch of different obsidian stuff. So if you're hoping to get a good amount of obsidian items that you may or may not have already gotten, they've got the compass and the bucket, as well as the pistol and the throwing knife available for the Treasures of Hope stuff that is going on till the 18th of December. So you still have a little bit of time. I'm waiting for the 11th when the new season kicks off to redeem my code. And the reason for it is because I want those levels of renown to kick in once the new season kicks in. I have heard that some folks have not necessarily been getting those. So I just want to let you know as well too, if you have actually done the donations and you have not received your email, you should have gotten 2 emails. And you haven't received both of those, then I want you to make sure that you go in to the Treasures of Hope website. I'll do you one favor here, and I'll go ahead and put the FA, or no, not the what am I looking for? The support email. I'm going to put the support email if you haven't received your emails on how to redeem the code yet, in the show notes. So if you haven't received them and you have donated and you haven't already emailed the support team, make sure you double check your spam and junk folders for it getting filtered in, because it's 2 rapid emails and it might have triggered it. Confirm that the email address that you used was the correct one associated with your Sea of Thieves pirate for your Microsoft account. And if both of those still haven't resulted in you getting the emails to redeem the code, then all you have to do is email support@treasuresofhope.com with your donation details and the platform you play on to be able to get some support to be able to get those, because especially with the throwing knife being the newest item into the obsidian set, with the flintlock pistol, the bucket, and the compass being some of the harder ones to get a hold of. Good that you try and actually like work on that, because you don't want to donate and then not get the benefit of the actual ones, unless you just don't care. You just wanted to donate as a very philanthropic thing to do. But outside of that, you have the Sea of Thieves stream support a streamer, which is not a support a streamer for anyone. It is only for Sea of Thieves partners. I am not going to get into the hubbub that is going on with that, because there is quite a bit of stuff going on social media where folks are making good points, but the points that they're making are laced with drama. And unfortunately, as social media goes, as egos go, as people's feelings get involved, it's kind of like, okay, let's focus on the point here. So the point is that this is going to be made available only for Sea of Thieves partners. It's not for something that you can get through any other means. So they are going to be doing Twitch drops, which are coming up, I believe, as well. Let me actually take a look at that, because I'm pretty sure that the Twitch drops are coming later on. Or no, they haven't actually given us the dates on that. I know they're doing what's it called? They're doing, what did they, the season 18 community weekend, and Twitch drops are probably going to be going on during that, but we don't have the dates on that so far that I'm aware of, but I'll do some digging next time I take a break. So the where was I? The support a streamer stuff. Okay, so the partnered Sea of Thieves partners, you can purchase 2 qualifying subscriptions to receive the Amethyst Mercenary ship cosmetics. And if you gift 3 qualifying subscriptions to people in chat for the streamer, then you can also get the Obsidian double barrel pistol. And why Rare has 3 names for the same cosmetic set is beyond me, because you have the Ebon, you have the Onyx, and you have the Obsidian. And I'm not even gonna caveat that with the obvious 4th one that was from the beginning of the game that has never been talked about. But if you bought the controller, you know what I'm talking about. Or I guess you pre-ordered the game. Yeah, I think when you pre-ordered the game, that's how you got it. But yeah, anyway, they're going to have that during the same time as the Gilded Voyage giveaways, as well as the Legend of Giving and Holiday Hulls. So if you want to get yourself the Ebon double barrel pistol, or the Obsidian double barrel pistol, however you want to call it, you'll have to donate to a partnered streamer 3 gifted subs between the 15th and the 2nd. So there's a lot going on between the 15th and the 2nd. And it's one of those things. I would love it for it to be every streamer. I think it would be fantastic if every streamer had the opportunity to get gifted subs, because this is effectively going to be a pretty good way for partnered streamers to get a big jump in subs, which is at that point, it's your Rare is incentivizing people to pay the streamers for their time for playing, which is important for the actual category. But I would also like to point out that there are quite a few non-partnered Sea of Thieves streamers who have been actually streaming quite a number of hours in the last 90 days, which has actually been the lowest viewing for Sea of Thieves on Twitch. The last 90 days have actually been probably the lowest that the category has ever had, because of the content that's been coming out effectively for season 17. So they really do want to try and draw attention to this. And one of the best ways to actually do that is to actually grab the partners, who a lot of them have been taking a break on the game. And rightfully so. Their job is to entertain. And if there's nothing entertaining in the thing that you're doing, you have to go where the entertainment is. But there are quite a bit of streamers who have been putting in the hours, who have been streaming a lot for Sea of Thieves. And it would be nice to have some of that natural discovery. If the partners don't want to participate, they're not required to do so to an extent. But it would be nice to kind of see them, especially if we're trying to get those sales from them as well too. But this is definitely one of those situations where a lot of folks have friends who stream Sea of Thieves and would love to give them a little bonus during the holidays, and to be able to give them that opportunity through subs to be able to have that return. You know, if we're doing the donation stuff for Treasures of Hope, to be able to get the rewards, to be able to have like the Obsidian content there, I think it would have been nice, and it would have been very considerate for them to continue the initial kind of precedent of giving support a streamer to all streamers, not just the Sea of Thieves partners. While I understand that they have been gone for a while, or not all of them, but a hefty amount of the big partnered streamers have been not streaming nearly as much Sea of Thieves lately. So it would be cool to have everyone have that opportunity, and always bring back the Sea of Thieves partners back to the game during the beginning of a new season to check out the content, to showcase it, to, you know, promote it the way that they're being paid to promote it through like Ancient Coin and cosmetics and stuff. So that's going on for that. If you're looking to save money on cosmetics, look forward to December 18th, which is going to be 3 days after the big whoosh of Legend of Giving, Gilded Holidays, supporter streamer, all the stuff going on. That is going to be kicking off a week after the beginning of the new season. So new season kicks off the 11th. We're going to have the Orb stream starting on the 12th, going that over that weekend. After that weekend, that Monday is when everything kicks off with the Legend of Giving, the supporter streamer, the sailing around to find people, all that stuff. And that's going till the 2nd of January. Between that weekend, on that Thursday, the week after the beginning of the season starts, there's going to be a Holiday Emporium sale. And that's where they're going to be doing the end of year sale. They say it's going to be a big one. They say it's going to be almost everything that isn't brand new or time limited. And a lot of that stuff can be up to 50% off its usual price between the 18th and the 5th. So if you've been wanting to buy stuff in the Emporium and it's stuff that you've held off on and you want to collect it, the Emporium sale during the 18th through the 5th is going to be that time frame where you're really going to be able to capitalize on that. So that's kicking off then. You've also got a fancy jig emote, which is an Xbox Game Pass benefit, which does not help anyone that's playing on PlayStation. It doesn't help anyone that's playing on Steam or anyone that's playing on Battle.net. But if you are an Xbox player and you do have Game Pass, it doesn't quite say if it's Game Pass or Game Pass. What is the new one called? Premium? They changed up everything and I hate it. But I think they've gone with Premium and Ultimate. They don't say if it's necessarily part of just Game Pass because they haven't identified which tier the fancy jig emote is going to be made available from. And I unfortunately am currently stuck in Ultimate, so I can't test bed this for anyone, unfortunately. So just be advised that the lower tiers of Game Pass may not have access to the fancy jig emote. But if that is something that you absolutely have to have, then just be advised that you may have to get Game Pass Ultimate for that. Double check your territories, costs, benefits, all that jazz before you commit to anything though. And that is effectively it. That is everything that they are planning. You've got a new season kicking off on the 11th. We've got the Treasures of Hope going till the 18th. After the 11th, you've got the Orb stream kicking off between the 12th and the 14th. And then after the 14th, the next day on the 15th is when we'll get all the Gilded Voyages every day. We'll have the holiday hulls where you can try and find people who are either partners, part of the AA leadership, or the deckhands under the generous gift sales, spreading holiday cheer, meeting pirates and giving the sales and stuff with them. Then you've got the supporter streamer stuff going on. You've got the holiday sale on the Emporium content that's kicking up on the 18th. And all of that's going to January 2nd, aside from the sale, which is like 3 days more. So nice that they are really kind of embracing December as kind of a return to form. And they even went a step further. They even did a couple cool little songs. So let's get into that. All right, so I really love that they went full on. The music team genuinely is one of my favorite over there. And what they ended up doing was a Carol of the Cursed Crew, which is kind of a Carol of the Bells take for Sea of Thieves. The music video is fantastic. I love that they are giving a warning that the Bone Chiller's coming. And if you misbehave, if you betray your crew or you break the pirate code, the Bone Chiller is going to come after you. And it's fantastic. I think Chloe's the one that actually did the main voice for this. But it feels very kind of like old school, rare when it comes to Sea of Thieves, like early days when they would do kind of these songs. And it's so heartfelt. You know, it's nice to have these kind of moments where they kind of share some really cool stuff and they get to have fun with the game as opposed to constantly worrying about stability or content updates or missing deadlines or, you know, all the issues that they've genuinely been struggling with over the last couple of years, trying to find that cadence. And it feels like they are taking a look at what worked and going back to that. They're trying to address the cadence of content with how they approach like releasing stuff. Remains to be seen. Well, you know, give it a couple more seasons. We'll see how things go. But I love that the video production team and the music team came together to work on building out a music video for Sea of Thieves for Christmas time. And kind of, I don't know, I love this time of year. I love this time of Sea of Thieves when they really kind of embrace it. And I love some of the stuff that they're actually putting into this. So that was really cool. I really appreciated having that just kind of be a thing that they actually did. They actually put a nice little like Reaper Mark gingerbread cookie that they baked and then kind of decorated for the video as well too. And yeah, they're doing a really good job. The Return to the Roar has also got a really good video covering the music that they made for the actual like what do they call it? What do we call it? The login screen? Yeah, login screen. So love that they've got that as well too. They're also doing some hats that you can buy in the Emporium that are going to be Christmas ones as well. There's a whole new Renown season to actually like take a look at and whatnot. That's got a bunch of new cosmetics that actually look really cool. So happy to see that. There's a new Widow tattoo set as well as a ship set that's coming along with that season. So I love that they've that it's you know, brand new season. We got some really awesome stuff. So they've got some portraits and trinkets that are coming along as well as some new hiding chests to be able to use. They've got a whole Nightshade set that's coming out that's kind of cool looking. That's part of the Plunder Pass as well. And I really, you know, I'm hoping that the Return to the Devil's Roar is going to bring in a lot of enjoyment, that a lot of folks are going to pay attention to the Orb stream. They're going to watch it. They're going to hang out with pirates. They're going to do the Festival of Giving. They're going to go check out stuff in the Roar. They'll have fun with the new boss type or the new enemy type. They'll you know, be able to get their commendations done and get ready for the Molten Sands Act 2 and just, I don't know, bring a little bit more love and a little bit more happiness into the Sea of Thieves community, because even this weekend it just felt really kind of a bummer. You know, it was a sad day. You know, I was talking to a chick and she made the comment that it's a sad day for SOT streamers right now, because it seems like everyone's kind of calling each other out and picking at each other. And it's like, this is not the time to be like, we should be trying to actually rally each other, you know, build each other up and actually enjoy the fact that we're going to be getting some fresh content and content that looks like Rare has genuinely tried to reinvigorate an area of the world that has been really desolate. And I don't mean desolate just because of the nature of the actual area, but desolate as far as like the content updates and having stuff brought to the Roar with stuff. Like, remember when everyone was excited that they found out that the Legend of the Veil could actually be like take you to the Roar? A lot of folks were like, dude, it's been a hot minute since we've been out here. So, and again, I'm not trying to be punny with that. Like hot minute was not intended. But it's cool. I am looking forward to seeing how this goes. I definitely want to jump in and pick up all of the new cosmetics that they're going to be bringing to the Emporium, because they'll actually have they're actually going to be bringing some of the season 11 stuff back into for doubloons. So if you missed out on the frog lamp or Belle's jacket, those are going to be brought in for a decent cost as far as the actual doubloons. So that's kind of cool if you guys missed out on season 11 content. You've got the pale resolute hull, sails, and flag that are going to be, it's a pure white set with like a snake eating itself, as far as like an Ouroboros kind of thing. You've also got the Regal Hound, the arena weapons, the purple arena weapons making their way to the storefront as well. There's a new Emporium set called the Tundra Wanderer, which also has a costume and weapon set as well. As they've got a ghost ragamuffin and then a dark cat, constellation cat that are going to the Emporium. There's a bunch of stuff. They're bringing more of the glacial curse pets. So like they've got a monkey and they've got a toucan that are going to be going as well too. But they've got the red and black festive hats, which are little, snow Santa hats. So I love it. I'm really happy that we'll be able to kind of just, have some fun with Sea of Thieves. I think they're bringing a fair amount of stuff to the game with season 18. I'm looking forward to the new seasonal renown. I'm looking forward to the new cosmetics in the shops, the new ship set that's coming with the pale resolute stuff. It looks more interesting than the stuff that they've just kind of been bringing. And we're gonna have to wait and see how people like it. But I'm sure that we'll probably have the community episode, which I believe is on the. Let me take a look here. It's not going to be on December 27th. It's actually going to be on December 20th. So yeah, December 20th will be the Gold Hoarder episode. I'm going to double check and make sure that that's accurate as well too. No, I have it set up as the 27th in the Discord. So I'm actually going to have to edit the Discord so that it's actually on the 20th. Cause I'm going to be out of town, traveling during that last weekend there. So because of that, I want to make sure that folks know, like, hey, just be advised, we're going to be recording a week earlier, just to make sure that folks have an opportunity to actually get in and talk about the season. So you'll have a good 2 weeks of, or a good week at least of the new season, before we do the Gold Hoarder episode. But outside of that, I'm genuinely just kind of looking forward to seeing how people react to this, how people engage with it. I think there's going to be a lot of folks that are probably going to remember how rough the roar can be when you once you've actually got like some of those volcanoes and stuff going off. So yeah, it'll be cool to kind of see how this all turns out. Genuinely just happy that we're getting back to a point where Rare is actually doing some really cool stuff. All right, pirates, that is going to do it for this episode of the Keelhauled podcast. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for supporting. Thanks so much for just hanging out with us in general. I know this was a little bit mashed up of an episode. I tried to put it together a couple days over the weekend, as I was out most of the weekend, actually over at a convention. So I didn't want to leave you guys without an episode, but is definitely a lot more shotgunned than I typically would prefer to do it. So hopefully with the next episode coming up next week, we'll have a little bit more congealed, put together episode. But hopefully you guys don't hate me for the weird time codes that'll probably pop up on YouTube, if you even notice those. But I do appreciate that folks are kind of using those and having a good time with the updated formatting on YouTube. I've been trying to put some chapter markers and stuff in there. So that is going to do it for this episode. As always, if you guys ever have any questions, concerns, comments, feel free to let someone else know, because I will probably, no, I'm just kidding. feel free to let me know over on social medias or in the Discord, best ways to get a hold of me and stuff like that. If I don't respond, it's not because I hate you. It's because I genuinely probably forgot to respond to you, because I probably checked it during work and then was probably like, oh, I'll get back to them, and just genuinely forgot. But that is going to do it for this episode. I just remembered there's things that I've already committed to that now I completely forgot that I didn't actually do. So now I have to go figure out how I'm going to find time to do those. Holy cow, I need to do better about scheduling stuff. That's going to do it, Pirates. Lots of stuff kicking off. It all begins on the 11th. I'm looking forward to the 15th, when we can start giving gifts and getting grapple guns and all kinds of obsidian stuff going out during the end of the year. Make sure you guys are tuning into Keelhauled Podcast to keep up with that. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, I talked about it, but feel free to join the Discord. Feel free to check out social media. I will probably be playing with people in the future. So if you guys have any questions, things like that, always definitely let me know. I'm going to be digging into the Orb stream as well. I don't know that I'll be able to stream it at all. I don't know how that's all working, but I'm sure folks will probably be talking about it in the Keelhauled Discord when we start getting some of those clips about some of the teases, and I'm looking forward to that. So Pirates, thank you, I love you, and I look forward to sailing with you on the Sea of Thieves.